Well. Here we go. Welcome to my dumpster. The only dumping we accept here is info, and we're all trash here, so get comfy, grab a mug of your favorite warm beverage, get wrapped up in your favorite blanket, and get ready for a wonderful adventure into Twitter fandom culture and the Minecraft YouTube space. Which honestly isn't really a fitting title, because not all creators are YouTube creators, and Minecraft. Anything you want to do, it's all at your fingertips. Creation, destruction, friendship, loss, adventure, discovery, home. The game itself, and by extension its multiplayer features, have spawned some of the most legendary YouTube personas and series on the platform. Technoblade, Ethos, Stampy, DanTDM, Captain Sparkles, LD Shadow Lady, and others like them have a place in many of our childhoods, and have even inspired many of us to start their own content creation careers. But as with every piece of media that exists, Minecraft content creators have garnered a fandom of their own. Most times, they are all grouped together under a collective Minecraft YouTubers, or MCYT title, but really, that's a vast overgeneralization. If I say I'm in MCYT Twitter, the Twitter community for Minecraft content creators, I could be a fan of literally any Minecraft content creator. So, most times, specific labels are created for specific subsections of the fandom. For example, servers, Hermit Twitter for Hermitcraft, Traffic Twitter for the Life series created by Grian, or specific content creators, Bootwit for Randu, or Techno Twitter for Technoblade, so on and so forth. Enough exposition. Back on topic. As with all media that exists, the fandom does what it does best: fan content. Fan art, fan fiction, fan songs, cosplay, edits, collaboration, podcasts, and so much more. Today, I'll be talking with and sharing the experiences of fan content creators, mainly in the Hermitcraft Empire's Life series Pirate Sphere. First, we have the fan artist, working hard every day to draw either the most intricate and beautiful, emotional piece you've ever seen, or a doodle of the guy. A funky little creature. We love the creature. Alright, so first question, tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is E. I'm what's up by me on every social media. I am a Minecraft artist. I draw for a living. I know it's sad. It'll get sadder by the day. I can feel it coming already. Jesus Christ, I'm not being serious. Okay.
It's okay,
back.
that works.
Yeah.
You don't have to be serious. This isn't serious.
Oh, I know. But yeah, I draw Minecraft YouTubers for a living.
Alright.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that about works. Favorite pastime outside of drawing?
Good question. Next one.
Alright. What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers?
Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, we're going to this question now.
Yeah.
So it all started when I was 3 years old.
Alright.
It was started when I was 3. My aunt has like this game on her phone that calls Minecraft, but I didn't know English back then. So I just call it house building game. And I got so obsessed with it, I searched up on, back then, YouTube was still a TV screen. And I searched up like house building game. You would never believe what came up. I started getting so obsessed with it. I think like the first like actual big hyperfixation I got is from like AFMAO. Either like AFMAO role-playing series, that or Stampy's Lovely World, or Ito. That's like one of the like 3 primary reasons why I got into Minecraft in the first place. And it all went downhill after that.
Awesome. I was about to ask also who was the first you've watched, and you've already answered that. What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom? Like, with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you?
I make thumbnails from Mythical J Sausage. Here's a cool one that just happened. I got a commission from Shelby, or as you know her as like Shelby Graces, Shelby, like that. I watched Shelby for like about almost my entire childhood. Like I remember like her being like in a lot of series I watch, and to have like that interaction is like so cool, and that the fact that she liked me enough to like go and commission my art, that's super cool. Oh, anyway, have you heard of man named Mythical J Sausage? you heard of a man named Mythical J?
I have, in fact.
The J, the sausage, Mr. Whimsical Wiener himself.
Yes, I have. Through you,
Yeah.
mainly, actually.
Yeah, I think that answers all of the question already about content creator. Actually, I do. If you're talking about like coolest, like I don't think I can like think of one because I have like a Discord channel where I put all my content creator notice in there. And I'm gonna say this, it's a lot, and I don't think I can like choose one.
That's totally fair.
Actually, never mind.
Never mind,
Technically,
alright.
like my fan art.
Oh, that's
Twice.
that tops everything, I think.
That tops everything, including Phil. Phil's a techno like my fan art, and I'm going to cherish that for the rest of my life.
As you should. What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom?
Clout.
Awesome.
And also this fandom's like extremely nice sometimes. Well, it's nice to me. If you're in like fandoms like Hermitcraft, Empires, any of Scott's new life, actually no, any of Scott's life series, or any of Green's life series, and you're bound to get like a very nice fandom to lay back on because those fandoms are pretty chill. And plus, just draw gay fan art. Listen, man, I got so much clout from gay fan art.
How do you decide what to draw? What's your process?
So I watch a Mythical J sausage video and he tells me what to draw. That is actually real. I watched a video of him today. It was his new life one, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, I have long hair. Go crazy, fan artist. As he stared at the screen, I know who exactly he's talking about.
I feel like this question is a bit... it's already answered itself, but who's your favorite MCYT to draw right now?
Oh, what's my favorite Minecraft YouTuber to draw right now? Oh man,
Such
Jesus.
a hard question.
Oh god, I can't think of one right now. There's just so much in the fandom. Oh, let's see. There's Technoblade.
Awesome. I hear a lot of people talking about improving drastically after like becoming a Minecraft YouTuber fan. Since becoming one,
dude.
have you noticed any improvement like that? In what ways?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Here's like a tip for like any artist in general in any fandom. If you really want to like get better at art, just get attached to something. I'm not joking. Here is my first fan art of Mythical J Sausage. And here is my latest. I want you guys to understand that I'm autistic and I get special interests. I have hyperfixations. And those last a while, most of my life even. And it's like a very cool thing to see that like you can like very much clearly see where you improve so much in the Minecraft community fandom, because Minecraft itself is a sandbox game. We know this. It runs on creativity, and that says the same to artists as well. We draw blocks into men and women and people, and that's so impressive. Get yourself a Minecraft YouTuber. You'll improve art in the speed of fucking light. There we go.
Alright. Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on? Or alternatively, any type of drawing you like working on the most?
Ooh. Oh, I like working on the most. Have you heard of Hermitcraft and Empire SMP crossover? That art piece took me about 6 months to do. And favorite to render? Maybe. It caused me so much pain. I can say this, during the making of that art piece, my parents got divorced. My health drastically tumbled to the ground. My arm broke twice. I went to the hospital 5 times. Yeah, it's my favorite art piece of all time, yeah. It has every single one of my favorite YouTubers in it. Well, almost.
Yeah, that one's really impressive. I really like that one.
It's very fun. It was very fun to do all the process, and you would never believe who was watching that process all the way through. That's right. Mythical J Sausage has been fangirling over this for months. He's been waiting, eagle-eyeing at my Twitter account, seeing every single new work in progress, and then he called me out on stream saying, "E, stop posting so much work in progress, and you're going to drive me insane." Fuck you, Dad!
All right. That was really interesting to hear. If you want to elaborate more on other projects you've done in the past, feel free.
Mm-hmm. I do have like a lot of projects I've done in the past, but because there's a thing called time, I don't want to show them anymore because I think like my latest art now really like I'm happy. I'm happy with how my art looks now rather than back then because oh my god. My art looks so much better now than yeah, because like obviously I improved throughout time a lot. And I'm really happy with how my art looks now. I do not want to show my old art though, unless I want to, because goddamn, those are cringe. I know I can make sausage look straighter than he can. That's all. That's a skill right there back then. But though future projects, I do have something in mind.
Oh yeah?
But I sadly cannot say because that would be a spoiler, and I can't do spoilers in this house. I can't do spoilers.
That's a shame. Alright.
It's Pirate SMP. It's Pirate SMP. Come on, it's Pirate SMP. Everyone knows this already. Listen, have you seen my art? It's Pirate SMP.
Alright. You already mentioned this before. You already answered this question before, but any more tips you have for beginner artists?
Yourself some fucking references. That or watch some YouTube tutorial. I was a knucklehead back then. I was stubborn. I was like, oh, I don't need to watch tutorials or art tutorial, get references. I can just wing it. No, you can't. Learn art. Learn the basics of art before you start bending it. I know that's such like an overused term, but it's like the best thing you can like do. Just learn basics, and you'll just do it from there. That and also get yourself some more artist friends. Listen, the only reason why my art looks so amazing now is because I surround myself in so much like artist friends that I just like it's like yeah, I'm like a leech. I see my artist friend, I just go, ooh, that's nice, steal it for myself. Ooh, that's nice, steal it for myself. Ooh, that's nice, steal it for myself. But not tracing. I'm getting inspired by them because they're inspiring to me. And now I'm inspiring other people. Let's go! What's on my V? Never lose!
I'm going a bit off script from the questions I have here because I've thought of a few more. Who's your biggest inspiration?
Who's my biggest? In art term or Minecraft term?
Any way you'd like to take this.
In art term, I guess it's the Juice Cult. If you don't know, I'm in a server with a bunch of big artists in the Minecraft sphere, and their art is such an inspiration to me, and I'm very happy I met them because like they're like one of the few like close friends of mine, and we like we talk a lot, and it's very nice to have like this group of friends that you can just like, I want to eat your fucking art. Let me eat your art. I need to consume it. Anyway, in Minecraft YouTuber, it's Technoblade. Like, obvious. Come on. Just look at how I talk. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Techno has been, like, such an inspiration, man. Like, I've been watching him for, like, years. Like, he's so cool, and I miss him a lot. If you look at my Twitter banner, actually, he's there. He's staring at me every single day. That hasn't changed since I got Twitter. It stayed there for like a very long time, and yeah, he's like a very good inspiration to me. Now there's this guy called Mythical J Sausage, okay? Mythical J Sausage is a Cuban-American Minecraft YouTuber that specifies in buildings in Minecraft SMP's video. God damn it, his building style, I need to I need to open his brain up and just be like, what is wrong with you positively? That's my dad.
Now considering the spirit of this sort of video essay slash podcast slash I don't know what this is at this point. It's the concept of this podcast slash series, whatever, is basically it's a place for me and for the guests I feature to just info dump about whatever they want. You have
Anything.
You have 3 to 5 minutes to talk about whatever you want. I will be quiet and I will be listening.
Anything. Oh, buddy. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. 3 minutes isn't enough. You can't do that to me.
You can take as much time as you'd like.
I can't.
Then, any last message you have for the viewers?
Subscribe to Technoblade.
Amen. Subscribe to Technoblade.
Also, follow me on these socials.
Yeah, they will also be in the description.
I draw art. If you like to see no particularly any YouTube, specifically any singular YouTuber, I don't have favorite. I don't play favoritism. I don't play favoritism whatsoever. I do not have favorites.
No.
Yeah, if you want to see Hermitcraft, Empire SMP, or any SMPs down that line, follow me. I draw so much art of it. Like I am autistic to the core. I'm so autistic. Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that's like a good note to end off.
Yeah, thank you so
Also,
much.
watch Mythical J Sausage. I can't stress enough how much he's so entertaining, and that's my fucking dad. He's so nice. He's so nice. I need to kill.
Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you for inviting me here. This is fun. I'm going to go and
not
draw Mythical J. I swear I'm not drawing sausage right now. I'm not. I am not.
Definitely
I'm
not.
not. Oh god, I hate that guy.
Thank you to Clue for reading this text interview for me. Their info will be in the description. Okay, first off, tell me about yourself.
So, I'm Cactuu. I'm a 17-year-old artist that is mainly in Hermit Twit, Empires Twit, and Traffic Twit. And I'm mostly known for my mumbo jumbo art. I've also made a couple somewhat well-known animatics like Tightrope. Basically, I am very, very insane over the silly block people. Keck.
Alright, cool stuff. Thank you. Next question. What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers? Who was the first you've watched?
The short answer would be unsupervised internet access at a very young age, Lamau. At first, it was when I was really young, like around when I was 7 to 8. You know, when Minecraft was originally very big and popular. Stampy and DanTDM were very big draws for my attention because, OMG, cool game. OMG, you can make a story and characters in this? Wow, you can add stuff yourself by using mods? The second time was in 2020, when popularity came back and I got attached again. I think the quote-unquote first person that was fully in MCYT was Wilbur Soot, although I got back into it due to PewDiePie. It was mostly due to the challenge videos, which then turned me to watching SMP servers and sticking to them because of, again, being hyped about being able to make a story in a simple sandbox game.
Interesting. DanTDM was also what got me into Minecraft. Next question. What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom? Whether it be with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you.
Lord, I have a few. The biggest one was definitely when Mumbo was on his second hiatus. It was when I started to get really big and well known on the community. The main reason was because I started to tweet out I miss Mumbo Jumbo every day in the Jax Films Twitter for Android style, a couple days after he went on break again. It was a funny mess of people just watching me go slowly insane. But it came to a climax when Mumbo came back and I officially ended the thread. It was so cool watching people reply and go, I was here, and congratulating me on finally being free, Lamau. It was also very, shocking that a couple of people I looked up to in the fandom also replied. It was a very eventful and emotional afternoon for me, and I don't think I'll forget it. A bit of a smaller one has been, all of my interactions with Mythical Sausage, both on his streams, which resulted in me starting to play the clown music bit for the lols, and all the Twitter interactions I've had, either art-related or Lore Fury-related. It's all been very fun.
Sounds incredible. I did see that I miss Mumbo Jumbo tweets on my timeline here and there at the time. What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom?
Making headcanons, actually. It's like Headcanons are just a very fun way to expand a character, and so many people make such fun, angsty, fluffy headcanons to make certain characters more relatable, you could say. Those headcanons sometimes even result in art being made to show that particular idea, or even AUs being created. A lot of the time it turns into almost a community build type thing, you know? The content creator gives the viewers a basic character, sometimes it being an actual character that they made, like everyone in Empire's SMP, or it's just them playing Minecraft and having fun, like most of the Hermitcraft peeps. And everyone just starts adding on to them, turning them into something more, adding a story, making their Minecraft skin look amazing. Like, have you seen the Efo and Philza fan artists? Bro are literal anime characters, yet everyone makes them look so much more like them. Another thing that would just be the hype of a new video or stream happening, with everyone in the community getting hyped and excited and just discussing the new content. That's always a fun time.
True. Headcanons are so fun, and all the fan art is always so amazing. Next question. How do you decide what to draw? What's your process?
The voices in my head that constantly force me to draw my comfort CCs /silly/J. My main source is all the music I listen to. Some of them I just listen to them and it's like, man, this gives off insert character /duo/group here vibes. And so the daydreaming of a drawing competition and feeling begins. Now, I don't have any ideas. I look through other fan art or Pinterest for some inspiration, or I just full on ask friends for ideas. Somehow. All in all, music and lots of daydreaming is my main tool, and it's the same with how I make my animatics as well.
I see. Music always gets the creativity going. Who's your favorite MCYT to draw right now?
This very underrated and unknown MCYT. I don't know if you know him, but his name is Mumbo Jumbo. I like to draw him a very normal amount /J. Also, Mythical Sausage is up there on the list. Keck.
My favorite small creator, Mumbo Jumbo.
Very small, only like 9 subs.
So true. He is so underrated. Anyways, I hear a lot of people talking about improving drastically at art after becoming an MCYT fan. Since becoming an MCYT fan, have you noticed any improvement like that? In what ways?
Oh yes, 100%. It mostly comes to improving in anatomy and drawing diverse and inclusive character designs. Like not drawing everyone as pale white anime people, okay? Like when I look at my old art, the difference in improvement is wild. I think it's because the difference in MCYTs just forces you to improve and get out of your comfort zone. I never thought I'd be learning how to draw shirtless men until some of Sausage's characters were literally shirtless, Lamau. Same with drawing more furry-like creatures, wings, armor. I've improved in all those areas ever since I started watching MCYTs again, because my favorite MCYTs Minecraft skins weren't fully human in so long.
Interesting. Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on? Alternatively, any kind of drawing you like working on the most?
Currently, I'm working on a new animatic that I've wanted to do for a while now, but I'm taking my time with it though. There are a couple animatic ideas I've had for a while that I'm very excited to work on when I get the willpower to actually start them, lol. Other than that, I just enjoy doing slice of life type of art as much as I absolutely love creating angst. Something about those two vibes just tickles my brain. Mostly I go with the flow though, letting my silly head come up with ideas and going on from there.
I see. Good luck on the animatic. I too love and adore angst. 2 more questions. What are some tips you have for beginner artists?
Most obvious one is to continue to practice. Use references for your art. If you can't find a specific pose for reference, then there's an entire reference for free with you at all times. Just get a camera and pose. Watch speed paints. I used to obsessively watch time lapses of my favorite artist drawing, and I have forever remembered some techniques they have used. Following the other one, if you start feeling like you're not good enough or you start comparing yourself to other artists, then go look at some of your old art. Personally, it makes me get so much more confident with myself, seeing how much I have improved. If you cringe at your old art, it means you have improved. Another thing would be to continue drawing what you like. Don't force yourself to draw something because it's popular. You're drawing for yourself, and that's important. I have continued to draw things that I love and have improved so much.
Solid advice. Thank you. One last question. Any message you have for the viewers?
Go support your favorite artist. Leave replies as it both boosts the art more and always makes the artist happy, no matter how many insane and excited key smashes it is. Also, subscribe to Technoblade.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Dustin, for reading out the text interview for me. Their links will be in the description. So first, Tell me a bit about yourself.
Oh my, tough question. I'm a 20-year-old transgender freelance artist. I love animation, illustration, and gaming, particularly love Minecraft.
Favorite MCYT?
I have a lot of favorites I really enjoy, but if I have to name one, probably Good Times with Scar.
Good choice. Favorite food/drink?
Oh my, hard one. I could probably only say something kind of broad. Favorite food, bread, and favorite drink, chocolate milk.
Bread is awesome. Can't argue with that. Finally, if you had to pick a superpower, what would you pick?
Levitation or flying, methinks.
Good one. Alright, next question. What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers? Who was the first you've watched?
That's a long history, oh my. I remember watching, what was it? Sky Does Minecraft? And popular MMOs? Way back when. Probably others too, though I stopped watching MCYTs a few years ago.
I see. After you started watching MCYTs again, who did you watch?
I believe Forge Labs and Dream SMP members.
How'd you end up watching Hermitcraft, Empires, and adjacent creators?
I'd seen some Hermit and Life stuff before, but I didn't fully get into everything until Double Life came out. That was the huge kickstart of it all.
Interesting. Okay, next question. What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom? Whether it be with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you.
Oh, certainly. Any interactions with other fan artists, especially with those I was a huge fan of, notably Cherry and Chris. Wouldn't have guessed they'd end up being cool pals.
Sounds incredible. I see you guys interacting a ton on my TL. What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom?
There's so much I enjoy about it. Perhaps I really love how fun it is, you know? Everyone has their own designs and faves, and it's so cool to see people come together just being silly and having fun.
Agreed. I love seeing different artists' designs for different MCYTs. Next question. How do you decide what to draw? What's your process?
It just comes to me. That's the best way I can put it. Mostly it happens when I'm listening to music, something just clicks and I have to draw the silly image in my brain.
It comes to you in a vision?
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, sounds like a good way to operate. Moving on. Who's your favorite MCYT to draw right now?
Looking away from all the gem CYT art, Big B.
Ooh, Big B's very underrated. Love his content. Nice. If we are including Gem CYT, who's your favorite?
Literally everyone, honestly. Couldn't really pick. I just love the AU as a whole.
Valid. It's so hard to choose. All of the designs are so awesome. Next question. I hear a lot of people talking about improving drastically after becoming an MCYT fan. Since becoming an MCYT fan, have you noticed any improvement like that? In what ways?
I'm guessing this is in terms of drawing, then hugely. Before MCYT, I was a Warrior Cats artist. While I did draw humans, it was certainly not my strong point. Of course, drawing a bunch of MCYTs improved my human art like crazy. My arts improved like just so much in the past few years.
Yes, it was about drawing. Interesting. It seems to be a common trend among artists. Something about the fixation on a specific subject and the drive to draw more often, I suppose. Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on? Alternatively, any type of drawing you like working on the most?
I have a lot of projects I'm excited for. Now, does that mean I'm finishing them? I struggle with finishing things. One project I'd really love to work on again, though, is the I Ain't Done Big B PMV. Also, drawing-wise, I've got a couple Gem CYT related things rotating in my brain, particularly continuing the fake title cards. Love working on anything Gem CYT.
Oof, yeah, definitely can relate when it comes to finishing projects. Sounds like you got an awesome lineup of projects to work on. Coming up on the penultimate question, what are some tips you have for beginner artists?
I'd say just draw what interests you most. Take inspirations from artists you love and media you like. Take an area you want to improve on and make it a fun challenge. Advice like that, honestly, basically have fun.
Solid advice. Last question, any message you have for the viewers?
Cringe is dead. Keep it silly.
First, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Chris, known online as Chris Rin. I am an artist and an animator, specifically during the chunk of Minecraft YouTube's big explosion back nowadays. I started off with the Dream SMP, and that's kind of where I started making animatics and such. I was still doing illustration. Of that kind, but I really started doing more animation style stuff, partially from the boom of Dream SMP, but I was doing a little bit before that with fandoms like Critical Role and a couple musicals and stuff like that I was really into. But yeah, so that's mainly what I do.
What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers? Who was the first you've watched?
So it's funny because I think like a lot of the fandom of people in Minecraft YouTube today, I started watching Minecraft YouTube back in 2013, 2012. But I've seen, there's a wide variety of people who will be like, oh my gosh, I was super into this YouTuber. I was really into, my number one is somebody that I think is a bit more obscure because every time I bring him up, most people don't know him. But there was a YouTuber named ChimneySwift11, and he did Attack of the B Team, the Minecraft Files. I was also into I Has Cupquake, Dan TDM. Those are some of the bigger ones. But ChimneySwift11 was my big, I would watch him every single day. I'd get home from school, watch him every single day whenever he'd put out a new video. And as everybody does, you kind of grow out of it. But I came back into it with, again, the re-explosion of it that happened, during COVID and stuff like that.
What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom? Whether it be with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you?
So there's a couple of these, I think, that are kind of interesting to me. One of the big ones, I think, being I made the Curses Last Life animation and the How Far We've Come Hermitcraft Season 8 animation, and getting the kind of reception and the feedback and people, talking about it and giving me comments and stuff like that on it, and kind of where it ended up sitting in those fandoms was really, really cool for me to see. Just kind of, people appreciating, and I put months of work into these different videos, and seeing them kind of come out, and both of them were very big progress markers for me as an animator, because with Curses, it was kind of my first step really into full color, trying really hard to make a polished animation. And then with How Far We've Come, I did compositing and shading and lighting, and seeing people be so appreciative of it was really, really cool. And then another thing that I really, really enjoyed, and this is more, fandom focused, is when I kind of came up with the conception for the Hermit Archives, which is a crossover fandom, sub fandom between Hermitcraft and the Magnus Archives, which is this sort of horror fiction podcast. And through that came the Hermit Archives that I kind of conceptualized one day, and I made some fan art and stuff like that. And I ended up meeting or one of the people that saw it was this writer by the name of 16thdays, Johnny, who went and made this whole, fan fiction series known as From the Archives, taking this idea and just going crazy with it. And very recently, Johnny has completed From the Archives, and because of that, or through that, I was like, oh man, what if we make this a podfic? And now we are 20 episodes in, maybe I think a little bit more, of the our team is called Red Feather, and we're producing the podfic for From the Archives in kind of the style of TMA, and we just finished our second round of auditions for kind of the later people that are coming into the cast, people like Doc, Martin, Tango, etc. And we're going to be sending out callbacks actually very soon, this next week. So it's been super, super cool, and it's been super awesome to see this small little idea blossom into this, kind of sub fandom niche thing, but we've been able to create so much cool stuff with it. And that's kind of happened again with Gemcy YouTube, which was again a similar thing where I was like, what if we did, a Steven Universe crossover? It was because I I've, I'm not as deep in the Minecraft YouTube waters as I was before, because I've kind of stretched. I've gotten into Homestuck for, in 2023.
So I've seen.
And I was doing, yeah, and I was doing a Homestuck Steven Universe crossover just out of the blue one day. I think I was just thinking about it, and so I created this, I called it Gemstuck. And I was like, well, okay, because I did 40 designs for Gemstuck stuff. I did an absurd amount of art for it, and I was like, what if I try doing Bodum? What if I went back a little bit? And so it was the first time me drawing Grian in months. And I made him a little aquamarine, and I did all the rest of the Bodum cast, and I was like, this is super cool. And then about a couple weeks passed, and then it started picking up, and I was like, wait, what if I keep doing more people? And again, there's been this kind of little mini fandom for Gemc YouTube, and I've been able to reconnect with a lot of the really cool MCYT artists that I had, not suddenly stopped being friends with, but we had, grown a little bit more distant. I've been able to kind of reconnect with, some mutuals and stuff who, we've been able to very enthusiastically kind of talk about Minecraft YouTube stuff again. So it's been really, really cool. So I think just the interaction that the fandoms have of being able to create these unique, mini, almost mini fandoms within themselves, and kind of the creativity that comes from that is super, super cool. So that's what I would say.
I've seen that happening. I've seen that on the
Yeah.
I think it's super, super cool how everyone comes up with their own designs and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super sick. Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, and just the creativity, and I think Steven Universe crossovers are in this really interesting position where they're perfect for a fandom Minecraft YouTube. Because, and that kind of leads into next question that would be on the docket, which is something that I particularly enjoy about Minecraft YouTube fandom, and that's how active it is and how vibrant and how many talented people are in it. And you see that with again, Gems to YouTube, where everybody has their own ideas for fusions, and here's my different interpretation of how these characters would mix together and what these designs are like. And because of how just inherently Steven Universe crossovers with fusion as a concept, it makes it so much, it gives that opportunity for artists to be able to have that flexibility and have that creativity to do all that, and people just go wild with it. So it's super, super cool, and I've had a really, really fun time with it. But again, it just shows how talented the Minecraft YouTube fandom is in so many ways, and especially for how young it tends to lean. I think now, with Hermitcraft, I think Hermitcraft audience compared to Dream SMP, right? It definitely Hermitcraft audiences and fandom lean older, but you still have a lot of very, very young people in it, and it's very interesting me experiencing the Homestuck fandom, which the people who are still in the Homestuck fandom nowadays, a webcomic that was popular in 2010, right, started in 2008, most people in the Homestuck fandom are adults, right? It's the ratio of minors to adults is very is much less skewed than it is in Minecraft YouTube. So it just goes to show how much talent there is in the Minecraft YouTube fandom, that even a fandom that skews younger is still able to produce an insane amount of polished, beautiful, creative artwork. It's crazy.
It's the amount of creators that I follow that I realize are younger than me.
Yeah. It's kind of soul crushing a little bit sometimes, because you're I go to, I'm oh my gosh, this art's so cool. I click on your bio to go follow, and it's you're 14 years old? What? Oh, I can feel I just turned, or I turn, I'm 21, right? I'll be turning 22 next month, and it's I can feel the ashes coming off of my, I'm oh my god, I'm so old, I'm decrepit. It's no, I'm not. It's just you're compared to all these children who are insane, and that's just how it is. So
Next question: how do you decide what to draw? What's your process?
Oh man. Honestly, it's a lot of it is when it comes to deciding what to draw, whatever I want, it's a lot to do with just, I have a fun idea, and once it's really cool because I think that there's at a certain level when you're starting out as an artist, right? There is this kind of gap between what you have in your head and what you want to create and what you can like put onto the page, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I am visual, and you still experience that gap, right? You'll always experience some level of that gap, no matter what level of artist you are. You're always going to imagine it better in your head than how you can execute it. But you get better, right? And you get better at being able to transfer, what you visualize into what you're actually able to create. And I've definitely gotten to the point where that gap is much smaller. And so it's very cool to me to be able to be like laying in my bed one day and being like, no, I wonder what Bodum would look like as Steven Universe characters, and being able to get up and like go over to my tablet and draw that, right, and try to do that. And so, when it comes to what I decide to draw, a lot of it is just whatever I'm interested in. And I think what you're interested in is like the best thing to draw. If you have to, people are like, oh, you should be practicing, right? You should practice, you should do anatomy practice, you should do, color theory practice, you should be practicing fundamentals. Yes, you should do all those things, but do it like for things you enjoy, right? All of your projects, all of your, like things that you need to create to improve, if you don't want to burn out, right, and you want to have interest, make them something fun. If you have to do anatomy practice, then like pick a character that you really, really like and practice, using that character, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's like, it helps both as an artist to keep inspiration going, but just, to have fun, right? So yeah, I draw whatever I like. And then as far as process, I use Photoshop, which isn't I wish I didn't. I kind of wish I used Clip Studio Paint, but so be it. I have a Huion. Oh my god, I'm not gonna remember the name of the tablet. I have a screen tablet. 13-inch screen tablet. You don't need a screen tablet. I didn't start with a screen tablet. You don't need a screen tablet to necessarily draw. Some people like it. Some people, prefer just non-screen tablets. It kind of depends, but I use Photoshop for illustrations. I only use Photoshop. I use a hard, round circle brush. Unless I'm doing fun textures and stuff, that's all I use, You don't need an extravagant brush to create cool stuff. It's about, skill. And I personally recommend most artists, if you're starting out, learn to use with the hard round brush, with, zero opacity pen pressure stuff. Just have a bit of pen pressure for like, obviously, changing line weight and stuff like that. But, try and see what you can achieve just with a basic round brush and not using any, fancy pens. Now, if you're in like Procreate and it's all built in, then that's, fine. But you'd be surprised at how far you can get without fancy tools. And then for animation, I use Toon Boom Harmony. And that's like a more professional animation program. And again, for most artists, I started animating, doing storyboards. I would draw the frames individually in Photoshop and then export them and put them into like an editing software, like a cheap, bad editing software, and like pan them around the screen. It was so bad, but it worked. And if it works, it works. So
Exactly.
you don't need crazy expensive stuff to start off. But that's kind of how I tend to work. Photoshop for illustration and Toon Boom for animation.
I see. All right. Who's your favorite MCYT to draw right now?
Okay, since I've been doing a lot of the Gem C2 stuff, I would say it's probably Aquamarine Green. Like, I just like drawing the Gem C2 stuff right now. I've always liked drawing Green. He's always been the one that I've drawn the most when it comes to Minecraft YouTube, especially like, post-stream SMP in more recent times. But I'm also a huge Impulse fan. Out of all the Hermits, I probably watch Impulse the most, and Tango as well is like another, big favorite of mine. Those are probably, like, if I had to say three, those are like my top three of favorite MC to draw and also just to watch and enjoy.
Good choices. I hear a lot of people talking about improving drastically in terms of like art after becoming a MCYT fan.
Yes. For sure.
Since becoming one, have you noticed any improvement like that? In what ways?
Absolutely. I know there's kind of this trend that people do where they do I'm trying to remember the term, like your art in a year, and or summary of a year, art in a year, blah blah blah. And I have some of my art from, I think, when did I really start Minecraft YouTube? Like 2020, right? Started, that's like prime. I was just getting to MCC because MCC was kind of my gateway into Dream SMP and all sorts of stuff. I was big into watching a Minecraft speedrunner named Pizza Hut, who is in MCC. That was like my kind of gateway. And I have my art from like 2020, and my summary of an art, and just, the whole concept of summary of an art is you put in your best piece for each month. That's my 2021, and then I have 2022, and I obviously don't have 2023 because we're still in it. But you can kind of see over the course of 2020, I obviously I start drawing Minecraft YouTube stuff, and then into 2021, you can see me at the beginning of the year, drawing Dream SMP stuff, but like by the end in December, right? I really love that December piece still, but I was drawing so much in general, and there is this kind of improvement that I've definitely seen, especially like into 2022, and I have like that Good Times with Scar piece in August. With him from the Hermit Archives, of him like flipped upside down, the Hanged Man, the tarot card. It was so good. I was so happy with it. I'm still so happy with it. But it definitely, like, you do improve. You do improve like crazy. And again, I think that has mostly to do with inspiration and being inspired. And something about Minecraft YouTube, unlike some fandoms, where if it's like a fandom based on a book or a movie or a TV show, that TV shows, it can kind of depend, right? Because TV shows can be lasting, but sometimes like Netflix, they'll drop a whole show to binge. With Minecraft YouTube, it's like multiple years of ongoing consistent content, and so you're always like seeing a new thing happening. I'm not super into QSMP, but I like, just because I'm in Minecraft YouTube stuff still, I just have a timeline where I will occasionally see QSMP stuff, and it's always like, oh my god, what's happening over there? Because there's always, new stuff. Because it just inherently, with the sort of more role play type format, for some elements of Minecraft YouTube, life series, QSMP, even again Dream SMP when it was coming out, is just inherently like there's always new things, and there can be some pressure of like trying to keep up. I definitely struggled with that, of like wanting to always keep up and pushing a little too hard because you're trying to you don't want to be outdated or irrelevant or whatever, which it took a long time for me to get over that, and it takes time to kind of work your mind out of that mindset. But people will appreciate your art whether it's quote unquote late or not. It's that's not an important, that shouldn't be something that you value in terms of what you're actually outputting. You shouldn't be rushing yourself to try and stay quote unquote relevant. Anyways, but that's I do think that inherently Minecraft YouTube does a lot to spur artists and within fandoms. And again, you're starting so young, right? A lot of these people are coming to the fandom very young, and you're in this unique opportunity now where you have these very, very young artists who are getting access to like an iPad, right? Or a basic, drawing tablet, like a Wacom, Intuos, right? Super, super young. And they're seeing all of these incredible artists around them, and they have access to the internet. They have access to YouTube. They have access to tutorials and such. And so, like, these artists are wanting, again, to take that image in their head of the things that they're conceptualizing and put it onto paper. And they're realizing, okay, there is that gap, but I have to improve to get better. And when you're young and you just have like middle school and high school to worry about, right? You have a lot of free time. You really do. You might not think you do, but in comparison to, later in life, you have a lot of free time during, that era of your life. And you're able to watch streams for however many hours a day and also draw while watching those streams, right? And improve like crazy and watch tutorials and all sorts of stuff. And so that like exponential trend of artists getting better younger is because we're having access to more opportunities and more information at a younger age, and getting access to the tools at a younger age. And so an artist that's 13 and has 3 years of experience and is 16 now, that's 3 years of experience, and they're starting really young. And so you might be 18, 19, just getting started. You've drawn for digital art for like a year or so, and you're gonna look back and be like, oh my god, that 16-year-old is so much better than me. And it's like, well, yeah, they've had 2 times the amount of time and experience to work on stuff. Some of these kids are getting started drawing at 12, at 11, an iPad in their hands. Procreate is $10, right? And you just start doodling. And so I think when we make comparisons to people younger than us, you have to also keep that into perspective, because some people are just insanely talented, and obviously that's true, but some of these people are getting access. I didn't get my first drawing tablet until I was like 15, 16, and some of these people are getting that much, much younger. So, and again, that's just kind of how Minecraft YouTube is. These people are inspired by the artists that are around them, and so they want to try doing it themselves, and they try at a young age, and that's kind of how it comes about.
Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on, or alternatively, any type of drawing you like working on the most?
So I'm working on a couple things right now. Some of them aren't Minecraft YouTube related necessarily, but I'll still, I'll mention them. Yeah. So, something that's more Minecraft YouTube related is I am doing, for the first time, I'm developing like an acrylic charm shop where I'm going to be selling acrylic charms online, and I'm doing some Jimsy YouTube designs that I've kind of posted on Twitter and teased a little bit, and Tumblr and teased a little bit. I'm doing mostly Homestuck stuff. But it's kind of the first time I'm really dipping my toes into that, talking to vendors and getting samples and learning how to ship things. It's very new experience for me, taking my art and kind of turning it more into, going more into the businessy side of it. I definitely made money off of animatics and such on YouTube. Honestly, not as, more than I would have thought, but also I use copyrighted music. If Curses and How Far We've Come were able to be monetized and make that, I was able to take the money for that, I would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have a few videos on my channel that I have one video on my channel in particular that is quite short that I was able to monetize, and it has made me over $1,000. And it's like a 40-second video that I drew in 6 hours. But How Far We've Come has and Curses combined have triple the views of that, and are also 3 times as long. If I was able to monetize them,
If only.
the money that's just gone. It's kind of tragic, but also I made a very conscious decision when it came to How Far We've Come's music choice, because kind of how I was talking earlier about that burnout of being irrelevant, quote unquote. I was definitely falling into that whole zone of, I need to make these animatics to make money because, they were profitable. But then I was, kind of digging too far into that, and I was losing some of the passion, and I was hitting burnout. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make the decision that I'm going to use copyrighted music so that I'm not going to stress about views or money or retention or whatever. I'm just going to make it, and it's going to be good. So it ended up being a good thing for me ultimately. But it feels nice to make money off of your work, and I do commissions and such like that. But I'm very excited with the charm shop. And then the other project I'm working on is I'm digging my toes back into animation again after kind of switching to illustration stuff for a while, and I'm working on this Homestuck animation featuring Dave Strider, doing kind of an animated music video type vibe. That's I've been working on and off on for the past few months, and I'm finally, now that I have a bit more free time, I'm digging back into it and trying to really commit to finishing it, because it's about, I want to say 40% done, but there still is a lot of work for me to go through. So, but it'll get there at some point. So, but those are the 2 big things, and then obviously we have the podfic, the Hermit Archives podfic that we're still in the process of, and having a lot of fun with that. And I'm still doing Gemsy YouTube doodles and such. But those are the 2 big ones, is the charm shop and the Homestuck animation.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to those charms.
Yeah, they're gonna be great. I'm so excited. I'm getting my samples hopefully sometime late next month, or this month, late this month, because it's we're in September now.
Just 2 more questions now.
Okay.
What are some tips you have for beginner artists?
Always use reference. Always. Trace as well. Tracing is great. People tell you tracing is... Don't trace... You know, if you're going to trace, you use it for personal use. Like, you don't post it, or if you do post it, get permission from the person you trace from, and, like, also say that you're tracing, right? Or that it's a study. But trace for studying, literally always use reference. I use reference every time I draw, I'm doing a pose. Best thing to do, if you can't find reference exactly that you want, take a picture of the reference, of yourself doing the reference. You might not be the exact body type that, you know, you need to represent, or you can't exactly get the right angle or pose, but even just having the visual reference and doing the pose yourself will give you a better idea of how it should be drawn. It's the same for animation, right? You're going to look really stupid, but it's part of the fun. I love recording videos of me acting out, like, stuff that I have to do in the animation. And if you see, like, we saw this a lot, and you see it for a lot of different movies and stuff, but Spider-Verse, I think, had it a lot. You see all these videos of the Spider-Verse, like, animation, like, next to the reference stuff that they'd use, and they would literally work right from the reference video, right, to make these the character animation, stuff like that. It's like, that is what the industry does, right? So, you know, save yourself time, save yourself effort. It's not like cheating. It's literally what they do in the industry. Use reference, use often, use always. And again, kind of what I said earlier, you don't need the perfect brush to do your work. You don't, like, it's cool to have really fun brush packs. I have some for, you know, cities and foliage and stuff like that, but you can really do a lot of your stuff. You're not, you being unable to execute something is not because you are lacking the brush to do it. It's because you need to practice more and you need to improve your skill. There are some incredible artists out there that, you know, you look at, I'm thinking of, like, Riot Games, right? You look at some of the splash art illustrators for things like League of Legends, and a lot of the times you're looking at these speed paints and they're using, like, a hard round brush, right? They're not, you know, and they'll use some extra fun stuff for texturing or whatever, but you know, you're looking at a lot of these things and they're using basic things to start out. And that's what matters. It's like, you learn the basics, learn with the most basic tools, and then you expand, right? And then you can start using these, you know, crazy cool brushes and all sorts of stuff. Same thing with just, like, the program, right? Like, you can learn on Procreate, you can learn how to do art on Krita, or, you know, some of these other programs that are free. You don't need Photoshop. You don't need, you know, the you know, crazy whatever's out there. You just need basics, and, you know, start from there. It's so, our art, I think, nowadays is so much more accessible. The only really barrier for digital art is the drawing tablet, and even then, a Wacom Intuos basic drawing tablet is like, what? I don't. I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna say a number that's gonna be really off because it's been a while. But I remember buying my basic tablet for like $80 on Amazon, and I think that the Intuos are even cheaper. Like, they're not expensive. You know, save up some allowance. Like, it's you know, it doesn't take much, and you don't need crazy tools. You know, you can get in, and yeah, use a lot of reference. Literally, like, do studies of artists that you really like. If there is an artist and you're like, oh my god, I love their art, literally try to copy them. Try to copy not even just their art style, that exact piece. Try to look at that piece, break it down, and literally recreate it as best you can. Don't try to do it in your own style. I mean, you can try to do it in your style, but, like, try not to do it in your own style. Try to literally copy exactly what they do and see if you can pull it off and see how close you can get. There's, oh my god, I wish I could, let me see if I can pull up there's this really incredible YouTuber that I love, and I'm gonna see if I can find the video that I'm thinking of. TPPO Art. They do these videos. I will link it in the chat. They do these videos where they do essentially that. They break down these artists that they really, really love, and they essentially try to copy exactly the piece, like one of their pieces. And watching those videos, it's super insightful, seeing how this person breaks down this other artist's process and essentially replicates the art style and replicates the exact piece to study it, you know. And if you can do that, like if you can really do those for studies, you're gonna be golden. Like you're gonna improve so much, So that's what I recommend.
And lastly, any message you have for the viewers?
It's always better to start something and be bad than to not start at all. That's what I'd say.
That's a
to
very
anybody.
good message.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Of course. It was lovely. I was going to say lovely chatting, but I did mostly just speak the whole time. So thank you for letting me do a little lecture, essentially.
Of course. It was super insightful. Before we continue, I hate two-parter videos, so here's a little intermission and your reminder to drink water and get a little something to eat. If you want to watch the video in 2 parts, this is the end of part 1. Okay, back to the video. Next up, the fan author. Fanfic writer? Fan writer? They'll describe deep connections and beautiful, articulate plot lines one moment, and then write the funniest, most nonsensical thing you've ever read the next. That's just how they do. And honestly, I can get behind that. So, first, tell us a bit about yourself.
So, I am a fanfic author. I go by 16thdays. My name is Bonnie. I have been writing fanfic for, I think, like 10 or 11 years at this point. I've been doing for Minecraft YouTube specifically since late 2020, I believe.
Who's your favorite Minecraft YouTuber?
Scar. Good times with Scar.
Good choice. Favorite pastime outside of, writing?
I play a lot of Minecraft. I do also write. I do creative writing. That's not fan fiction. What else? I also play guitar.
Ooh, that's cool.
Thank you.
Favorite food / beverage?
Bubble tea.
Good choice. All right. What got you into watching Minecraft content creators? Who was the first you watched?
So I watched a few when I was really when I was a lot younger, kind of during the first big boom of Minecraft YouTube. So I watched a bit of like Captain Sparkles, Sky Does Minecraft, which were buried memories until quite recently. But more recently, I got back into it when the Dream SMP was really big because some of my friends were very into that. And I sort of existed on the periphery of the Minecraft stuff for a while because I would hear them talking about it. And then it's actually the reason for like the origin of my my username. Because my AO3 account, 16thdays, I made specifically for posting Minecraft stuff. But I watched Technoblade's December 16th VOD. I didn't see the stream live, but it was the first VOD I watched on the Dream SMP, and it's a really good VOD. It was a really good stream. It's the I don't know how familiar you are.
I'm pretty familiar, I'd say.
Okay, good. I'm never sure, but it's just obviously Technoblade, fantastic creator, extremely funny, and it was just a really just action-packed and engaging, and I really enjoyed it. So I started following like the DSMP stuff after that. And that's why it's 16thdays, is because it was the 16th, the stream from the 16th.
That's interesting. That's a really cool like origin for a username.
Yeah, I wanted something that sort of like because I was making it specifically for that fandom, I wanted something that sort of nodded at the fandom and how I had got there, but that wasn't like an explicit, reference to any specific YouTuber, because that felt kind of weird to do. So I think I found a kind of good middle ground.
Yeah, no, it's a really good username.
Thank you.
All right. Who or what inspired you to start writing?
Oh, geez. That was a long time ago. Because like my my first fanfic I wrote for like the MCU. I think that's what it was. I think it was like the Avengers 2012 movie. I was like, ooh. Did silly things to my little baby brain at the time. And then I just didn't stop. Like for me writing is a method of just like, I've got a lot of ideas in my brain all the time and it helps me to get them out. That's what I've talked to my co-writer a lot about, because we have pretty different experiences with writing. But for me, I'm just like, I kind of have to write all the time because there's worms in my brain.
That's honestly fair. What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom, whether it be with a content creator or fellow fan, anything that stood out to you?
Ooh, I mean, it would have to be when I was writing from the archives, and I started talking to Chris Rin, because I was sort of like, I mean, I followed him and I admired his art a lot. And we sort of got into touch because we were both in like the Hermit Archive server that he had made. But we didn't really know each other. And then I was like several chapters in, I think something like 18 chapters in, maybe around there. It was around ornithology. And that was when Chris said, kind of out of nowhere, he like wanted to draw covers for all of them, and that was like insane to me because I didn't have much, like I hadn't had many people do art for my fic before, and he was someone who I really looked up to, and it still is. I mean, he's so talented. But it just kind of blew my mind at the time, and then he actually did it. So like I remember I was visiting Zeph at the time, and we were walking like down the street, and when he posted the first like draft cover he did, which I think was Elephant's Foot, and we literally like stopped and were looking at my phone. So that's, I mean, but every interaction that I have with like an artist who wants to draw something based on what I wrote, or make something, do a translation, anything like that, leaves me kind of like I mean it's just really, really cool for me. I mean, there's some people who I really admire, so whenever if I see them like saying on Twitter that they're going to read or they have read my fic, I'm like, oh, like that's like Local Wheel got really into from the archives I think this last summer, and then did some really cool art that just like made me insane. I keep having like tangential interactions, like not really like with content creators, but like on the margins of just barely not. Like the thing that I am always tormented by is I am friends with Cherry Fire, who's Martin's thumbnail artist. And she keeps threatening that she's going to send him my fan fiction. She actually has, but I don't think he's read it. But that's something that I'm just like, I always have hanging over my head like a sword of Damocles.
What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom?
I love how much room there is for play. Like, because I don't know, there's so much material that you can work with based on, what creators you follow, what, servers you follow. There's a lot there already. And then because it like, it comes in this format that, I mean, it's Minecraft, right? So it's kind of inherently limited. But there's so much like good stuff there that you can sort of pull on and do whatever you want with. It's like I think for a fanfic author, there's a lot of room, and this is, I guess it's true of a lot of media, but it stands out to me with Minecraft stuff. Like you can kind of make whatever you want out of it, and still have that connection to the source material, which I really like. And also the art is really good.
Absolutely. What's your favorite thing about writing?
Ooh, I don't want to be like self-centered and say that it's, when other people like respond to it, but that is kind of an element of it. I really like because when I write, I'm like taking something that's in my head and putting it into a form that other people can see. Which I don't consider myself to be a particularly like articulate person when I speak. So when I write, I feel like I have a chance to kind of explain what's in my brain better. And then, if people see that and they relate to it or it inspires them. And like I said, if they want to do art or like they just like, it makes them feel something strongly. Or they want to talk about it. All that sort of stuff is one of my favorite parts of doing writing.
Well, it is a form of art. So it's not quite wrong to say it's art.
Fair enough.
What's your favorite genre to write in?
So this might be obvious if you look at my recent output. My favorite two genres are horror and comedy. Which is I really value comedy in my writing and being a little goofy. I think it's critical to, because the main thing that I want to accomplish with my writing always is that it's fun to read. Like I know I don't really sometimes they're quite good, but I personally don't enjoy writing like very emotionally heavy work, and I don't particularly enjoy reading it either unless there's like some sort of element of levity there, just because it's otherwise like that's kind of more what I read like actual books for, which nothing against like angsty fan fiction, like I said, it is an art form, but for me personally, I like to prioritize the fun of it all. And with horror, what I like is that you can go kind of as crazy as you want with whatever concepts you want. There aren't really any, horror is like by nature transgressive. There aren't really any limits on what you can do. So you can just have a lot of fun with it.
How do you decide what to write? Either a new work or an existing one?
A lot of the time it's just pure inspiration. I mean, I'll just see, a piece of art, or I'll have a conversation with my co-writer that just gets the gears in my brain going, and then I'm like, I have to write this. And for me, sometimes that inspiration can be a bit of a flash in the pan. Like I'll write one thing and then I'll be like, all right, that's the whole thing. But sometimes it is enduring, as with kind of my longer fics. And the more people are kind of engaging with me on an idea or on a concept, so like the more like if there's an AU that I'm writing about that a lot of other people are like interested in, then I'll usually like stay inspired for longer because there's just like all these new ideas coming out. I also do like original writing, and that's kind of a different matter, but that's more likely to be like a more intentional process. Where I'm talking things over with my co-writer for a pretty long time, and we're like building up on characters and themes and stuff because we're planning for a longer work. With fan fiction, I don't usually plan that much.
Who's your favorite MCYT to write for right now? Like, which is your favorite character, for example, to write right now?
My favorite is always Scar because he's the one I watch the most. So I feel like I have a really good handle on how to write him. The funny thing is, if you look at my account, I have written Green more than anyone else by far, but that's just because he's in like every single fic of the from the archive series. So it's like characters. He is I've got like 75 fics with Green in them, and most of them are just from the archives. But Scar is my favorite to write.
All right.
Yeah.
You've kind of already answered this question before, but I'll just ask it again for the sake of it. Fluff or angst?
False dichotomy. I'm more likely to read fluff if, that's the option that presents itself, but I kind of feel like dividing fic down into fluff or angst eliminates a pretty broad spectrum of like genre. Like you kind of have these two very kind of pure emotional these two specific emotions that you're trying to evoke from the reader, and you're not I like, at least this is my opinion, you're not really trying to do anything else. And there's a lot more than that writing can do. Like, I mean, would you say that From the Archives is angst?
Not really.
Like, I
You have a
wouldn't.
point.
I wouldn't, yeah. Because it's also a comedy, but there is, tragic stuff that happens in it. It's a story that's got multiple dimensions. So I don't think and this isn't like against you or anything. It's just a question I see
Of
around a
course.
lot, and I don't think it's a really useful one.
You have a fair point. Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on, or alternatively, any type of fic you like working on the most?
Well, I have been having a lot of fun with the silly little Life on Earth series, just because since I finished the From the Archives, which was like my kind of big overarching project, I've just been I've been trying to work on smaller things a bit, because God, that took so long. It was worth it, but it took so long. But so I've been having fun with Life on Earth, which is my Steven Universe AU, just because it's very like kind of low stakes, and I can just write it when I feel like it. Another thing that I am excited about is the rest of the From the Archives podfic. We're just doing casting for that now, and I'm really I'm always excited to hear more of that come out. The voice actors are so talented. We got so many auditions. I just finished listening through all of them pretty recently, and I can't talk about it yet because we haven't sent out callbacks yet, but like lots of very talented people.
It's funny you started mentioning from the podfic, because the next question was gonna be about it.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'll read it out. As of today, you're actively working on a podcast version of your fanfic series From the Archives. How does a production like that work? Anything you want to share about the process?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of people working on it. We have voice actors for every character, which is I think it's currently something like 12 or 13. And there are going to be more with when this next round of casting is complete. Plus we have, I believe, 7 editors and a sound director. And then myself and Zeph, mostly my co-writer Zeph, are like the producers. And so it's a lot of people working together, and with that in mind, like we work together quite well, I think, but there's this very coordinated process where we try and have all the audio recorded by a certain time so we can get it to the editors. The editors are supposed to check in by a certain time in the week to make sure that they're like up to it. I do the intro and outro, and I always try and record those by a certain time each week. So it's a lot of like smaller pieces coming together to make the final product. But it is really, really fantastic for me to hear, especially because the whole kind of the central concept of From the Archives is always that it is like a transcript of an audio work, and that the audio work doesn't exist, right? So it's just the transcript. But as I was writing it, I would always like try and hear what I was describing in my head. I'm like, this character is like speaking in this manner, or this would sound like this, and then try and like describe that as best I could with sort of the limitations that I placed on myself with like the transcript format. But when it's actually being made into a podfic, I can actually hear that, and I can actually, I can be like, this character should sound like this, or like if someone asks me how are you envisioning this specific thing, I can say, and then they'll make that into the audio format, which is really cool. It's just really, really exciting because it kind of feels like the story taking the form that it was originally meant to, which is not something that I ever could have done on my own. Like I said, there's so many different people with so many different talents involved. Like I'm not an audio editing person at all. It's not really my skill set. But being able to have people who are, and people who are good at voice acting, who can do accents, like that's one thing that I can't believe is several of our voice actors are not using their native accents in the podfic, and they're just like really talented.
Well, thank you for sharing. That was very interesting to hear. Just 2 more questions. What are some tips you have for beginner authors?
Write a lot. That's my main one. That's the one I always say. You just have to write, and it'll probably be, the best thing that you can write when you start writing. You'll look at it 5 years later and you'll be like, wow, that's really bad. But it's the only way that you get better. You have to write a lot, and every time you write, you are practicing. And writing is a complicated enough skill with enough little, quirks and aspects and different elements to get good at, that I do believe the only way to get good at it is to just practice a lot. And that will mean that the ideas that you have when you first start writing, you may not be able to do them justice. Like, I see some people who are like, I have this really good idea and I want to make sure I write it well. And I totally understand that, but you kind of trap yourself doing that because you have to write it poorly first, and then maybe someday you can come back to it and write it better. But that is definitely my number one piece of advice. My other piece of advice, I think, is to read books. I read a lot for fun, and obviously I read a lot of fic, and I also read a lot of novels. But there is, like, every type of writing, there is something you can learn from. And even if you're not really doing it consciously, like, I read a book recently that just had this really gorgeous descriptive prose for, like, the scenery. And I sort of, like, I was reading it and I was like, man, if I can take even a little bit away from this like area in which this author clearly has this mastery, then it will improve my own writing. And I think like that because I've written for a very long time. And you don't necessarily need to, but it just helps to be like, read other people's writing, in fic, in books, and it helps a lot to be practicing writing. Those are my main 2 things.
If that ain't true. Ain't that the truth about the writing something bad, looking back at it, and just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, and it's like, that happens to me all the time. Like, I have had several accounts where I post my fic. I started on fanfiction.net, and I look back at my old stuff and I'm like, God. And it, like, no one wants to put stuff up, for the world to see that they're not completely proud of. But it is a necessary part of getting better.
Mm-hmm. I have some stuff in Google Keep that I look at and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? It's staying in Google Keep forever. It's not coming out of there, but I'm also not gonna delete it because a part of me is like, it exists, it's a step in the journey, I am not going to touch it. It's a relic.
Yeah, and like the other thing is, I have a lot of old works on AO3 on my past account, which I'm not particularly like, they're not my best work, right? Mm-hmm. But on AO3 there are still, people have seen those and enjoyed them. They have like comments and kudos and bookmarks on them, even if I'm not happy with them. So like, even if the work that you put out into the world is not, you are not particularly happy with it, a lot of the time there will be still people who like enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So I am, my policy for myself these days is to not delete stuff. I orphan it sometimes. AO3 lets you just remove it from your account, but it's still up. But like, I try not to delete stuff. It's nice to put stuff out into the world.
All right. Finally, any message you have for the viewers?
Read a lot, write a lot, don't be on TikTok.
Amen.
Cosplayers. They take a character and bring it to life using clothing, makeup, wigs, and all sorts of props and accessories. Personally, I like to say I relate to this group the most. Even if makeup isn't my strongest suit. Yeah, no, I can't do makeup.
So, first off, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Melody. I've been cosplaying for 5 years now. I've cosplayed from a whole bunch of things, but at the moment I specifically mostly cosplay from Minecraft. Things from all the way from the Dream SMP to Hermitcraft, Empires to QSMP. I've cosplayed from it all. And yeah, I'm 18 and I'm from the UK.
Alright. Who's your favorite MCYT?
That's difficult. There's too many. I think I've got a lot. I say top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Tubbo purely because I have 180k channel points for him. I've been watching him the longest on Twitch. Good times with Scott, great vibes. I love his videos, love his builds. Always a great person to have in any series. And I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to put Stampy in my top 3. Stampy was the person I first started watching, and I just still love his content. I'm so sad Lovely World is ending, but he's been a big part of my discovery of like Minecraft content, so he's got to be up there for one of my favorites.
Favorite pastime outside of cosplay?
I feel like a lot of my hobbies kind of have to do with cosplay. I guess actually video editing is a big one that I love doing. I've kind of incorporated it into my cosplays. Some of my TikToks I use stuff like green screens for. But video editing is like my job currently, and I still enjoy really doing it, so video editing.
Awesome. What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers? And you've already sort of answered this one. Who was the first you watched?
Well, Stampy was the first one I watched, and I feel like it's very hard to exactly how, but I think it just ended up me coming up. I discovered YouTube, discovered the recommendation page. I was like, what's this lovely world? And then I started watching it, and then I watched Quest to Kill the Ender Dragon, and then I watched like the adventure maps, and just it led me to a bunch of different places. Then explored like, Dan TDM, and then later I started watching like Afmao, and then Hermitcraft. It just led me all over, but Stampy was the very first creator that I started watching.
All right. Who or what inspired you to start cosplaying?
Like in general, or like Minecraft cosplay specifically?
Whatever way you want to interpret that.
Okay, for starting cosplay in general, I went to a convention where I just dressed normally, and I saw cosplayers like in person. I was like, oh, I want to do this. This looks sick. And at the time, I really loved Overwatch, and they all had like Overwatch cosplays on. I thought it was the coolest thing ever because I'd never seen it before. And then that inspired me. I went home and I was like on YouTube, like cosplay, Overwatch cosplay, and I watched like loads of videos. And then I got to go to like my first in-person con in cosplay a year later. It was not good, but from there, I started to like slowly discover more about cosplay and get better and better at it. For Minecraft cosplay specifically, I mean, when the pandemic hit, I think a lot of people all got into like Twitch and watching Minecraft content. And from there, I discovered the Dream SMP. And I saw a lot of my like mutuals who were also cosplaying from Dream SMP, and I was like, oh, I'll give this a go. So then I cosplayed a bit from there. And I got to, meet with some friends IRL. We did cosplays together. And then later on, when I started to watch the live series and Hermitcraft, I was like, oh, I cosplay from this too. So I just kind of kept going and going.
What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom, whether it be with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you?
I think the one that stood out a lot was I went to a convention called Insomnia. This was, what was this? Summer of 2022, I went to a convention called Insomnia. And Scott Smage was as a guest there, which was so cool. I was going to go meet him. And I cosplayed Pearlescent Moon's Empire skin. And as we were there, I was heading outside. And my friend calls me. And let me backtrack a bit.
Yeah.
So I was looking through the vendors hall. And my friends went ahead and they went outside to do a photo shoot. And I stayed back a bit to have a look. And then I was walking outside. My friend called me. And I'm like, oh, they're probably just wondering where I am. And they're like, Gree and Joel here. And I was like, what? And I thought they meant cosplayers. Turns out when I went outside, they had managed to find Gree and Joel and Ollie and gotten a picture with them. And I was like, what? Because I thought she meant cosplayers. They were the real people there. And I was like, what? Huh? And turns out they were there with Scott, who Scott was guesting at the con, and they were there like to support Scott. And I later managed to find them around the con hall, and I just asked them for a picture, and then Green complimented my cosplay. That's still something I can't really comprehend, but it's one of those things that's like the weirdest, like an interaction I never ever expected to have, but it was one that I really thought was so cool.
What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom?
I think compared to a lot of fandoms, there is so much creativity in the MCYT fandom, because also a lot of what we have to do for the story and the characters is a lot of interpretation. And I think a lot of the small little headcanons or designs that people come up with and just spread for the community, whether that's through written fan fictions or an art and cosplays. I think there's so much creativity that you don't see in a lot of the fandoms. I think my favorite headcanon ever is the people's partners. They're always represented as goddesses and stuff. Mumsla with Phil and stuff. I always find that stuff so cool, and I don't think you can find that sense of creativity in a fandom anywhere else other than the MCYT fandom.
What's your favorite thing about cosplay?
I guess learning very unique skills with cosplay. For me, I started off learning sewing in my free time, which later led me on to be able to sew my own cosplays, which is something I'm really proud of. And I think no matter what level you are, whether you're the most skilled seamstress, the best prop maker, or whether you've just started, everyone is welcome in cosplay. And I think it's so cool getting to see yourself grow over time of improving your cosplays. I think I've definitely experienced that over the 5 years. And it's just a super rewarding art process that I don't think you can find in many other art forms.
How do you decide who to cosplay? What does creating a new cosplay entail for you?
I think with deciding who to cosplay, majority of the time, the people I will choose to cosplay is because I think their character's cool. Most of the time, or I really like the design. And I think with making a new cosplay, it varies. If it's something that I want to put loads of detail in, I'll spend ages, planning it all out and making stuff. Like recently, I cosplayed Jaden's VTuber model, which is like what I used for their like Minecraft character, and that required a lot of planning and making sure I knew how to make stuff. But then for another cosplay, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like my Wilbur cosplay, I pretty much, the jumper I already owned. I owned a red beanie and I just put the wig on and I was like, yep, Wilbur. So it can vary a lot on being like stuff that I already is in my wardrobe versus stuff I have to pull the sewing machine out and like make completely.
Who's your favorite MCYT to cosplay right now?
It's difficult. I have done way too many like MCYT cosplays in general, so my favorite was quite a hard one.
At the moment.
Okay, at the moment, I was just trying to just pick. I'm so indecisive.
If you had to pick one to put on right now, who would it be?
I think honestly, just because of like how long I've been cosplaying them for, probably Wilbur. I've cosplayed Wilbur's like QSMP kind of character, and then I've also cosplayed his like the Revive Burn stuff from Dream SMP, and I think he's probably been a cosplay I've been working on for the longest, and it's relatively simple and it's very casual to wear. So I think that's probably my favorite one to do.
Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on, or alternatively, any type of cosplay you like working on the most?
Yeah, well, currently I've just come back from a convention and I'm wanting to start working on my next cosplay, but I want to make, this is like a big one for me, but Etoile on the QSMP, he has this really, really cool shield and sword, and they look so cool, and I really want to make them, and I have like this big idea in my head of how I want to make stuff, and yeah, that's probably my next big project. And secondly, Foolish Gamers. I have no idea how on earth I'm going to cosplay them because their skin is literally a gold totem with a shark hoodie, and like I don't know how I'm going to interpret that, but I would love to cosplay him as well. That's like my two projects that I'm going to be working on.
What are some tips you have for beginner cosplayers?
I would say don't compare yourself to others. Every cosplay journey is very different, and a lot of people have different experiences. Some people are really good at makeup, some people are really good at sewing. Everyone starts at a different point, and what's important to not compare yourself to others and working on improving yourself, improving your own skills. Like for me, I've only really figured out how to do makeup recently, and even though I still struggle with it, there are so many different aspects of cosplay you can improve on, so don't compare yourself to others. Focus on yourself and make sure you learn to grow skills, and it's just all about having fun, really. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to be like at the top of your game when you just start.
Great advice. Finally, any message you have for the viewers?
Watch the QSMP. I really like it and it's very cool. I will vouch. Watch it.
Awesome, alright. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem. It's so cool.
First, tell us a bit about yourself. Howdy, I'm Inu, also known as Inuslab on Twitter. My favorite MCYT has gotta be B00-100 and Ethoslab, honestly. I watch their vids immediately when it comes out. My favorite pastime is crocheting. I enjoy creating plushies and clothes that is inspired by my favorite character. My favorite food is spicy dumplings, tofu soup. What got you into watching Minecraft YouTubers? Who was the first you've watched? Who or what inspired you to start cosplaying? What got me into watching Minecraft YouTubers was an old SMP series that was mixed with MCYT and non-MCYTs. It was known as Minecraft Purge SMP. They had Smitty, Chilled Chaos, Vanos Gaming, Shubble, Pizza Hut, etc. That SMP series will forever be my favorite. My first MCYT I watched was Shubble, since she was known to hang out with Chilled Chaos, which he is my comfort streamer since 2012. What inspired me to cosplay Minecraft YouTubers was the artists. Their design to the Minecraft boring skins inspired me to create a fun, detailed cosplay that would represent the Minecraft character / YouTuber themselves. What's the coolest interaction you've had in the fandom? Whether it be with a content creator, a fellow fan, anything that stood out to you. My coolest yet silliest interaction with the fandom was when someone tagged, B-dubs under a tweet which I said, B-dubs being active on Twitter and Slap Twitter scares me so much, like he pops out of nowhere, and not a second later B-dubs commented asking how he can help today. What's something you particularly enjoy about being in the MCYT fandom? I really enjoy seeing the creativity in the MCYT fandom, whether it be in cosplays, fan arts, Minecraft skins, writing, etc. There is always something unique about a personal design on a Minecraft character. For example, Grian's Minecraft skin is literally a red sweater and black pants.
The fandom literally created this design to be so many different things. There's the parrot design, the chicken design, watcher design, and even Ariana Grande design. I believe that is my favorite thing about being in an MCYT fandom. What is your favorite thing about cosplay? My favorite thing about cosplay is bringing a character to life in my way. I like to add a lot of details referencing to the SMPs the character has been in. For example, with Ethos Lab, he is known for wearing a Kakashi skin, but my concept for him was techwear design. Life series, he's always active and moving around. His hair can be ranged from short and fluffy to long and braided, depending on the series he's in. He has many trinkets from his adventures, like friendship bracelets from Team Best / ties. He has a boat pin for Boat Boys, forget-me-not flowers / Minecraft clock / red bandana for beat-ups. And I actually have 2 Minecraft tattoos inspired by Ethos Lab himself. One is the broken Minecraft clock, and another is his life series, all in one. How do you decide who to cosplay? What does creating a new cosplay entail for you? If I get enough motivation by seeing different designs for a character, that is when I start planning out mine, which takes me about a week or more to plan out. It has to be drawn out, and I also have to get the audios ready to film on TikTok too. If I'm not ready with audios, then I refuse to cosplay. Getting into cosplay takes about an hour or more, depending on the makeup and everything. Korean cosplay takes 2 hours to put everything on, so I have to prepare everything before cosplaying. Who's your favorite MCYT to cosplay right now? My favorite has to be Ethos Lab. He's my favorite MCYT, and being able to be the IRL version to some people makes me so happy. Got any projects you're particularly excited to work on? Alternatively, any type of cosplay you like working on the most? I'm excited to start working on Pirates SMP cosplay soon. I've been seeing so many cosplays and fan arts, I just have to join the hype train sooner or later. What are some tips you have for beginner cosplayers? Honestly, thrift any clothes. Best to create stuff rather than buying it, and have fun creating your own designs. Go crazy with it. There's literally no wrong or right way of cosplaying. Any message you have for the viewers? Go support Tango's Decked Out 2 game. He has done such an incredible job on everything. And with that, final thoughts. While interviewing all of these talented creators and listening to them talk about what they love doing most, there is one thing they all had in common: passion. I could feel it in their voices, and even through the screen in text form. They truly, deeply love doing what they do. Going into this video, I never thought I'd end up talking to so many incredible people in the fandom. I'd only planned to talk to 2 or so artists and leave it at that. And as the scale and scope of the video grew, I realized that the concept and format has potential. While this series was initially going to be about a wildly different variety of topics, I've now decided to mainly create Minecraft-centric videos with a few spin-off episodes for other topics I'm interested in. I hope you stick around to see what else I have to offer, because as of me writing this script, which would have been around the end of September, I've already begun working on a concept for the next episode. If you'd like me to revisit this episode's concept, please feel free to leave a comment down below and suggest which creators you would want to see answer these questions, or any questions you want me to ask next time. Thank you for listening along, and good morning, good evening, or good night.